Hi Taurus, happy new 2016 with me Lada from astrolada.com. These are your January horoscopes for everyone who has their ascendant, sun or even moon in Taurus. So how does the year start for you? It starts a bit with a bang because the most important planets, the sun, Mercury, Jupiter, they are focused in your houses, basically in earth signs, which are very supportive to Taurus. There will be earth signs when there are planets in earth signs, and you Taurus are an earth sign. Those planets in the earth sign it's like support, it's like inspiration. The earth signs support each other inspirationally to get practical things done, because that's what Taurus is very much about, succeeding in the material world, for achieving comfort in the world, and whatever your core goals, whatever your dharmic purpose is like what your soul is incarnated in this earth for, in this lifetime, and for Taurus, is very much about understanding and working with practical, material, tangible things. But whatever your goals are overall, the planets now in January will very much support you, will very much bring you inspirations and tend to open doors for you. And of course you have to work yourself a bit hard as well, because those planets are getting retrograde. And when a planet goes retrograde, they start moving opposite, backwards. Then the planet requires 2-3 times more efforts, but it becomes 2-3 times stronger as well, so it brings 2-3 times bigger opportunities as well. And let's see now first what houses are exactly triggered for you, even though the energy is very supportive. So I'll tell you in January to move ahead, to go ahead with your goals and plans. You will be supported. First of all, the sun is in Capricorn, which is your 9th house, Taurus. And Mercury is becoming retrograde there. So first of all, you'll be able to see in some way the bigger picture. You'll be able to, especially because in December the sun and a few planets were in Sagittarius, which is your 8th house. So sometimes people tend to get a bit more down or a bit more intense or more emotional. But when planets go into a 9th house like the sun, you come out of this more darker zone in January, and you see the bigger picture, and you see how things fit together, and you start becoming hopeful, because the 9th house is the house of hope, of opportunities that come. The 9th house is how God sends us inspiration as well. The 9th house is how God talks to us to direct us in the right path. And our soul starts opening, we start becoming more optimistic overall, and more creative ideas come to the surface for you, which you can and when people start seeing the bigger picture, they start arranging something for the future. And especially because Mercury will be moving backwards, will be becoming retrograde. You all have heard about Mercury retrograde. Ooh, it's bad, you shouldn't do anything. It's not true. Mercury becomes 3 times more important than closer to Earth, and Mercury requires you to get down to Mercury matters in regards to the house it's transiting, to really start applying them. And it's transiting in 9th house, which means some of you might start thinking about pre-qualification, maybe some exams, something to do with higher education, with higher knowledge. Some of you might have a realization that, okay, this is where I want to be in 12 months, or this is where I want to be in 5 or 6 months, or whatever, even long term. What are the next steps I have to do? Because the 9th house is this house of the advisor, of seeing the bigger picture. And Mercury will approach them. You will approach them when Mercury is there, retrograde, in a very practical way. And you put down a plan dotted by bullets, or you will have a clear idea what are the practical step-by-step things that you have to do, and you might organize yourself about that. Okay, if you want to pre-qualify, if you want to get some higher education course, or if you want to go in a different direction, what are the steps to do? If you see that something is not working well, because you have the bird's view when planets in the 9th house. You're seeing things from a higher perspective, so to speak. You're not in the forest, blinded by the trees, just seeing the trees. You're above, seeing the whole forest. A little bit at least you'll feel it. And then Mercury, when you see that, Mercury says, okay, now I'm a manager organizer, Mercury. So over January and February, I'll make sure that I take the right steps. of whatever I have an inspiration for to do it. Often people might be arranging, when Mercury is retrograde in the 9th house, something to do with travel as well, something to do with education, something to do arranging papers, documents, or maybe having important conversations with 9th house people, which are mentors, teachers, father figures, advisors. Sometimes negotiations happen with foreigners or people that are in foreign countries, people that are in publishing, which is 9th house, people that are in coaching, advising, counseling will have very busy Taurus who are in that, will have very busy January and February while Mercury is retrograde in the 9th house, maybe arranging courses or webinars or something like that, maybe arranging restructuring in some way how they do their consulting and advising. People that are teaching as well might have a very busy arranging, organizing type of Mercury activities. People that are in traveling in some way or higher education, they all are organizing, working with papers, communicating, sorting something out in January and February. And what else? 9th house is foreigners, important communications with people that stay far away from you, different than you. They might be socially different class than you. They might be really foreigners, people with different religious, spiritual backgrounds. And again, these people come a little bit like teachers to us because they give us a different perspective. So you might have such important communications that give you this different perspective that people receive when Mercury is retrograde in the 9th house, and the right steps to implement in regards to that. But in any other mercurial activities, which is writing, speaking, talking, communicating, Mercury might require you to put a bit more effort, but it will support you because it's in a sign that supports Taurus. It's in another earth sign. So, and especially being in the 9th house, which is lucky, it runs smoother, it will happen more smoothly, any kind of Mercury activities, which is traveling, communicating, speaking, documents, papers, important conversations, presentations, tests, and many careers are like that. And on another side, Jupiter is in your 5th house and it's becoming retrograde. So it becomes again 2-3 times stronger because it will be the closest to Earth over the next 2-3 months. And it starts from January already. And some creative ideas that you had over the last few months, 2-3 months, which Jupiter, when it was moving forward, usually when a planet moves forward, it tends to introduce the new ideas, so some opportunities, and they might be in regards to creative ideas. And it's not necessarily that you should be a painter or writer creative ideas. It might be just some ingenious, brilliant ideas you have in regards to your business, in regards to, some inspirational ideas, because 5th house has, again, very strongly inspirational influence. And this is, again, one of the houses of God, as they say, one of the houses that brings us a spark of life, that brings a spark of hope, that is the good karma in ancient astrology, is the 5th house. So when Jupiter trans is there, it probably brought some opportunities. And now when it starts moving backwards over the next 2-3 months, starting from January, you'd have the chance to solidify those ideas, those plans, creative, ingenious sparks that came to you, new inspirations that came to you, some kind of other opportunities that came to you. Jupiter will, when it starts moving backwards, will help you unfold and help you dig deeper and implement those into your reality. But it's usually when it starts moving backwards, it's something that you already have an inkling about. You maybe not have started doing it, but something that you've thought about. Because Jupiter is not progressing ahead to give new search. Jupiter will be going back. And when Jupiter goes back, it wants you to reiterate something, to some maybe idea that you get even 10 years ago, and you might now start thinking, okay, now is the time to implant it long term. And it will ask you to put more effort. But it's again something inspirational that helps you be on the right path in life. Both the 9th and 5th houses that are triggered for you, Taurus, are houses of inspiration, dharmic houses, which show you God's will for you, which inspire you, which it's something that you're really here to do, that will give you more joy. These are happy houses. These are good houses, So when planets trigger it there, you have an opportunity to get a few steps closer to those things that are really, truly good for you, that will make your soul sing. Whatever it is for you, what is for some people their true path is to help others. For others is to actually to be quiet and happy as a parent. It doesn't matter, but you'll get such sparks of understanding now, and actually not only sparks of understanding, but because both planets will be moving, Mercury and Jupiter, in those inspirational houses, backwards, to start implementing them, to start putting your best skills over the next 1, 2, 3 months to make them happen. And Jupiter joins with Rahu, the north node of the moon, in your 5th house, which is like an explosion of Jupiter energy. Rahu is like a magnifying glass. Rahu, the north node, we know it in Western astrology, we call it, it has very similar energy to Jupiter. So imagine like you have twice Jupiter, 2 Jupiters in your 5th house. It happens once every 13 or 14 or 15 years, maybe next time Jupiter and Rahu, the north node, will be joined together. It's like 16 years or something like that, or longer. So and it will repeat over 2 more times in 2016, but now it's like the explosion there of either creative ideas and Rahu is a material planet. It helps manifest materially. Jupiter is the inspiration planet, and Jupiter is the planet that brings the ideas and brings the opportunities, while Rahu brings the material resources and the material right circumstances to make it happen. And it's in your 5th house. So if you want to get pregnant, you're Taurus. 5th house is children and pregnancy. Now can be a really good period, for example. Or if you want something important in the life of your children can develop now in January and throughout 2016, 2 more times it will repeat. Something, if you have your own private business, Jupiter, Rahu joined together can bring again, because 5th house is anything which is your baby. Jupiter and Rahu can bring this expansion, this ability to actually manifest it materially. But again, I repeat, because Jupiter is starting to moving backwards, it might be something that you've already thought about. Now you have to revise, to work hard on, implement. 5th house is creative ideas, creativity, people in music, in arts, in performance, in fashion, in all those more creatively inspired industry, or people that have their own business can benefit a lot. Your Tauruses, it's romance. 5th house is the heart chakra, kind of, and it's 5th house can some kind of romantic development can happen, important, and so stay tuned for those interesting and wonderful things, and it gets more happening, more supportive for you. So this is what I see for you, Taurus. Let me see. Jupiter is around the 21st, around the 24th degree. Jupiter affects very strongly. So if you're a Taurus that has Sun or Ascendant or Moon from around 21 to around 24 degrees in Taurus, you would feel very strongly those opportunities and the helpful expanding energy of Jupiter, which means that very likely you're born from around the 12th to around the 15th of May, if it's your Sun there. So opportunities maybe for work, Jupiter just opens doors, opportunity for personal growth, for expansion, for getting ahead, having the green light to proceed with projects. So thank you very much, Taurus. I hope I was helpful, and I will see you next month.